pitch 6 innings after being hit in the first inning of that game last Thursday in Florida. And his first pitch is strike 1, and away we go. Dexter Fowler leading off. Fowler had a good night last night. He has been one of the top rookies this year in the National League. 2 hits last night, including 2 doubles. His double in the 7th inning tied the game in that 3-run Rockies 7th. That was the inning they scored last night, but it was all they needed in a 3-2 win.
Yeah, the Brewers went through 4 different pitchers in that inning, and Dexter Fowler, as you mentioned, right in the middle of all that mess. Has a nice approach up there at the plate for a leadoff hitter. Always thinking the opposite field, has a pretty good eye at the plate, and he can run.
Rockies have a lot of young talent. They also have some veteran leadership as well. And it does not surprise Jim Tracy that the Rockies are finally hitting their stride. Tracy taking over for Clint Hurdle. Doesn't take a lot of the credit. Thanks Clint Hurdle for the opportunity to coach on this ball club, be the bench coach. But he says they finally realize, this is a business. And a little bit of a wake-up call when Hurdle was let go. But there's a lot of talent up and down this lineup.
Yeah, when an organization ultimately will dismiss a manager this early into the season, in particular Clint Hurdle, who took this team to the World Series a couple of years ago, it kind of gives everybody a wake-up call, and maybe if the guy's underperforming, wondering, am I next?
Long at bat here for Dexter Fowler.
Yeah, but Jim Tracy has made a couple of adjustments to the way these guys go about their business. They're running a little bit. He's moved some guys around the batting order, and right now they're probably the hottest offensive team in baseball.
Rockies averaging just over 8 runs per game as Bush finally retires Dexter Fowler on the 8th pitch of the at-bat.
Yeah, good cut fastball by Bushy on a 2-2 pitch. He emptied out the whole bag of pitches for Dexter Fowler. First batter, that's the key. That's the job of a leadoff hitter. See what you got that night, and Bush threw just about everything at him.
So 1 gone, and here is Clint Barmas. And there's a strike called by Phil Cuzzy, tonight's home plate umpire. Tom Halley and Jerry Crawford and Dan Bellino on the bases. Jerry Crawford is the crew chief, so if there is a need for a replay on a home run ball, it'll be Jerry Crawford who makes that decision. And a little bit later today, Brewers Live post game, we're going to have Bruce Fremming on with us, legendary umpire, native of Milwaukee. He's going to be on in our instructional to talk us through the replay scenario. Barmas into shallow right. Corey Hart eases over. And 2 up and 2 down for Dave Bush. Let's set that Brewers defense for you. A couple of changes in there tonight. Braun, Cameron, and Hart remain the same in the outfield. Billy Hall gets the call at third base with Casey McGee at second base tonight. And Mike Rivera, as usual, catches Dave Bush. Last night starter Braden Looper, no decision in 6+ innings. Gave up 2 runs. And Matt Gamble, a night off tonight with a left-handed starter on the mound. Veteran Todd Helton, the .308 hitter coming in. 7 home runs, 41 driven in. The Rockies currently 3rd in the National League in long balls, behind the Phillies and the Brewers. 67 team home runs for Colorado, and a team that has scored a ton of runs this year, especially in this winning streak, which is now at 6 games, and all of their wins on the road these last 6 days. Longest winning streak in the National League.
Yeah, Helton and Brad Hopp, the on-deck hitter, have been swinging the bats well all season long. But lately, just about everybody up and down that order has been driving in some runs, getting on base. They've all been tough outs. We saw that last night. But Todd Helton did something yesterday that I can't remember ever seeing against the Brewers. A couple of strikeouts.
A guy who normally puts the ball in play. It's only a handful of times, I believe the 6th occasion this year, and this is game number 59, that Helton has struck out more than once in a game. He just keeps doing it. Helton's been an amazing story. He's finally healthy this year. Off-season back surgery. Brock and I were able to do a spring training Rockies game this year. We share the broadcast with the Colorado Rockies television folks, and Jeff Houston company telling us that, you know, Helton is his old self.
Yeah.
He's joking around the clubhouse. You can tell he's healthy because how he handles himself around the ball club. When he wasn't healthy the last few years, it was tough to get up and go to work every day.
Yeah, players wear that stuff on their sleeves. I mean, you can tell when a guy's not feeling good, and just a battle just to get out there on the field.
Now Helton draws the walk, a 2-out walk given up by Bush, and he will have to deal with Brad Hawpe with a man on.
You know, talking to Ken Mock and Billy Castro about Dave Bush and his bullpen session in Atlanta, they said that he had the best curveball down in that bullpen that he's had all season long. Not sure if it's an effect or some type of a residual effect of that line drive on the elbow, but Ken Mock was very pleased about that curveball in his side session, and that's one of the reasons why they don't have any problem giving him a start today.
Well, there was some talk because of the day off on Monday. There was talk that Giovanni Gallardo could be bumped up to pitch in this game on his regular turn, which would have meant the 5th day. And then you bump Dave Bush back to tomorrow. Or it was thought that he might miss his spot altogether, and the Brewers would have to go to a spot starting role. Once it was determined that Bush was going to be able to go, and after his side session and his throwing sessions, he always has 2 throwing sessions between starts, Dave Bush. Once it was determined that he was good to go, Mike Burns was sent back down to AAA. Mark DeFelice activated off the bereavement list. So that opened up Ken Mock's plan for the rest of this homestand.
And the happiest guy on the ball club that Bush is making his start, Mike Rivera.
That's right.
His personal catcher.
Well, that means Gallardo gets the ball tomorrow in the daytime. Giovanni Gallardo against Aaron Cook tomorrow. Good matchup in the final game of this series. An uncomfortable Jason Kendall whenever he's not playing. He was still the first guy at the ballpark today. Well, Brad Hawpe has put together a nice run. He's been a big part of this winning streak for the Rockies. He currently is sitting on an 11-game hit streak. That is a career high for Hawpe. Big numbers. His .335 average tied for 5th in the league. 43 runs batted in, currently 6th best. And down he goes. Bush strikes him out. Changeup from Bush. And a scoreless first inning. It's going to be McGee, Hardy, and Braun to face De La Rosa. I love it. That was in the primetime mullet era right there. Look at that.
Yes, sir.
The Rock. Yeah, let's put that away for now. Well, Ken Maka trying to get his offense back in order after 2 runs last night on only 5 hits. And the Brewers will face left-hander Jorge De La Rosa, a former Milwaukee Brewer, now in his 2nd year as a Colorado Rocky. Maka's lineup brought to you by Subway. Casey McGee, J.J. Hardy, and Ryan Braun at the top. Prince Fielder, Mike Cameron, and Corey Hart in the middle, with Rivera, Hall, and Bush rounding it out. Look at the numbers for Prince this month. .414 batting average. He stays hot.
On the Piggly Wiggly scouting report on former Brewer Jorge De La Rosa. This guy's got great stuff, a live fastball, low to mid 90s with a fastball, pretty good movement, a curve slider, and a changeup. He strikes out a lot of batters this year, almost 9.5 strikeouts every 9 innings, and really hasn't had a lot of run support. There's been 4 starts for De La Rosa that Colorado has not scored a run.
Was once a prize prospect in the Brewers organization. Spent most of his time in Milwaukee pitching out of the bullpen. Last couple of years as a Rocky, he has been in the starting rotation. Casey McGee leads off tonight. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. A little bit of a surprise to see McGee in the leadoff spot tonight, but Ken Maka wanting to stick with some consistency up and down his lineup. He likes the way McGee goes deep into a count. He likes the way he can be explosive with the long ball. Doesn't have a home run this year, but he has home run potential.
Yeah, really the only other thing he could do is put Corey Hart in the top of the order, but Corey not swinging the bat like Corey would like to right now, so you keep him down there behind Mike Cameron. A lot of times when you have that platoon type situation, you want to really insert a guy, have one guy out of place as opposed to the rest of the club.
First time this year McGee has led off. He's hit in the 2-hole this season and then down in the bottom third of the order as well. McGee, Hardy, and Braun, first 3 up against De La Rosa. Casey's had good numbers since he has gotten some regular playing time in the month of June. 4 for 11. Really started to play with more consistency midway through the month of May as he chases one and down he goes on strikes.
Yeah, there's that changeup. Very good changeup by De La Rosa.
Here's how the Rockies line up defensively. Speedsters in left and center with Brad Hawpe in right. Ian Stewart gets the call at third once again. Tulowitzki and Barmas up the middle. Helton is at first, a Gold Glover. And Ionetta, talented catcher behind the plate. His 2nd game behind the plate since coming off the disabled list. The Rockies are very fast in their outfield, especially with Gonzalez and Fowler, 2 center fielders by trade. Those 2 guys can cover a ton of ground out there.
And they showed that last night, both defensively and on the bases.
It doesn't come into play so much here at Miller Park. The alleys aren't nearly as big as what you'd see at Coors Field in Colorado, but you need a lot of speed in that outfield to be successful. And Jim Tracy has given Gonzalez some playing time as Hardy lines out for out number 2. So 2 quick outs, and here comes Ryan Braun. Has 1 career home run against Jorge De La Rosa. Powerball home run leaderboard has Fielder on top with 15, Cameron and Braun with 12 apiece. The 3, 4, and 5 hitters in this Brewers order. And the Brewers overall 68 long balls this year, second only to the Phillies.
Yeah, Ricky Weeks still on that list. That's kind of tells you what kind of start that Ricky was off to.
Ricky Weeks lost for the season, wrist surgery. How about those numbers for Braun against De La Rosa?
Yeah, 6 RBIs, 5 for 6, a home run. De La Rosa has had an awful time here at Miller Park. About an 8.5 earned run average career here at Miller Park.
Well, De La Rosa has faced his former club on 3 occasions, this being the 4th. Back in 07, he gave up 7 runs in 5 innings. And then last year in July, took the loss, giving up 7 runs in 3 2/3. One win, 6 losses this year for De La Rosa. And the lone left-hander he'll face in the lineup tonight, Prince Fielder. Braun walks on 4 straight, and Fielder will bat in the first inning. Firestone leaderboard up above. Prince Fielder checks in with 38 runs batted in. 54 runs batted in for the season, second most in the National League. And the Brewers, as far as team home runs, second behind the Phillies. The Rockies are right up there as well, third. So a matchup of a couple of clubs that can bang away with the best of them. Fielder has handled left-handed pitchers very well this year. His season batting average is .294. His batting average against left-handers .322. That includes 5 home runs and 19 driven in.
And that's because he uses left field pretty well against lefties.
Off the shins of De La Rosa. And plenty of time to throw Prince out. So the inning is over. A scoreless frame for the left-hander. And we head to the second at Mil. Just underway at Miller Park tonight, the Rockies and the Brewers. And it is text time once again. We're taking your questions during the game and post-game show tonight when you text us at 234-234, keyword Brewers. Be sure to give us your first name and your city. And again, that short code 234-234, keyword Brewers. Good crowd still filing in here on a Wednesday night. Day 2 of this homestand. The Rockies are in for 3. The series wraps up tomorrow. And then the Chicago White Sox. Back to interleague play we go. A weekend series with Ozzie Guillen's ball club. Ian Stewart, the reigning National League Player of the Week. Last night Stewart had 1 hit. He was 1 for 4 at the plate. 11 home runs this year for Stewart. 2 of those 11 home runs grand slams this season. He's driven in 32 runs. Most of the damage came last week. Matter of fact, Stewart, to win the Player of the Week in the National League, drove in 12 runs and had 4 homers last week.
and
480 batting average.
And 3 of them were 3-run home runs. That's why those RBI totals are in such good shape for him. Hitting .229 with 11 home runs and 32 RBIs. Guy doesn't walk much. He's got an on-base percentage at .313.
Stewart getting the call in front of Garrett Atkins here lately at third base. Atkins has really had his struggles offensively, and until Stewart cools off, Atkins will be coming off the bench.
Yeah, Garrett Atkins, who's led this ball club in RBIs 3 of the last 4 years, hitting under 200. Power numbers down for him, so Jim Tracy going to go with a hot hand. Why not?
Now Tracy put Stewart at third base for Atkins. The other big change he made was in the 2-hole with Clint Barmas batting second in his lineup as opposed to Troy Tulowitzki. He's bumped Tulowitzki back into the 6th slot in the lineup. Tulowitzki 2 years ago finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting to Ryan Braun. Many folks in Colorado still feel Tulowitzki should have won that award. It was as close as it could possibly be. I think 3 votes separated Braun from Tulowitzki.
Well, Tulowitzki was there all season long. Ryan Braun came up at the end of May. But Braun certainly impressed everybody enough to win that award.
Now, 07 was a big year in Colorado. That was the year they came out of nowhere to grab the wild card. Matter of fact, the Brewers helped them get into the postseason in 07. It was Tony Gwynn tripling against Trevor Hoffman when the Padres and the Rockies were neck and neck. Forced a playoff between the Padres and the Rockies. The Rockies won that playoff, the famous slide in at the plate by Matt Holliday. And then Colorado just stayed hot. They went right on through the postseason. They swept the Phillies in the opening round. And then straight to the World Series, where they ultimately lost to the Red Sox.
And again, they didn't really show much throughout the season until the last 22 games. 21 out of 22. That's a pretty good run.
Yeah. Got him. Slow curveball from Bush. Well, Rock, you were talking about his curveball in his side session. He was opening some eyes, not only with his pitching coach, but his manager as well. And he's shown a good curveball early today.
And the good thing about that curveball is he throws it so slow, but it breaks so much. That's a tough combination. Ordinarily, get a break like that, you got to throw it a little bit harder. But Bushy's got that one that just kind of hovers in midair, then drops.
Well, Bush has always been known as a tough guy. He's a guy that, in Ken Maka's words, that he can trust. You know, he's true to his form. He'll tell you what he's thinking. You know, and if he feels like he can't go, he'll let you know that. But as far as the respect factor with his own teammates, his performance last Thursday in Florida on a night when the Brewers had basically no bullpen to count on.
Right.
The fact that Bush got hit with that line drive on his pitching elbow in the first inning still was able to give Maka 6 innings that night. Despite taking the loss, they were still talking about it days later.
He made that one mistake. Josh Johnson, the pitcher, had a 3-run home run and beat him. But when you consider the circumstances, the night before McClung threw 3 1/3. The night before that, Burns threw 4 innings. So the long men for the Brewers not available. And because Bush was able to pitch 6 innings, I think it went a long way in the Brewers winning that Atlanta Braves series. They used the bullpen quite a bit. Those guys were available largely because Bush was able to eat up some innings.
Well, one game leads to the next. One series leads to the next as well. For Dave Bush to be able to get back and be ready to pitch in his rotation, the sessions with athletic trainer Roger Kaplinger and Dan Wright have been pretty extensive as well. Just trying to clear that area out. As Bush walks Carlos Gonzalez. Another 2-out walk given up by Bush. And a base runner here in the second inning. You don't just let a bruise sit there, especially with a knot that Bush had. It took extensive treatment.
Those guys put in long hours, and one of the reasons why we popped up that graphic on, the Brewers, one of 3 teams with only 5 starters. Those guys are largely responsible for that, keeping these guys in shape, allowing them to go out there every 5th day.
Brewers, one of 3 teams who have kept their 5-man rotation intact. The Pirates and the Giants, the other 2. Little pop up in the air from Ionetta. Cameron will run it down, and Bush a scoreless second. We head to the home second. Mike Cameron leads off.
Based off his success against lefties, he's batting .317 against southpaws versus a .167 average against righties. And Bill has really been trying to get out of this funk he's been in as of late. He's been taking a lot of extra BP, and tonight he inserted some adjustments to his batting stance. He's went to a toe tap in order to create some movement in his stance before he actually swings the bat in hopes of getting the bat through the zone more effectively. So we'll see if that helps out and helps that .317 average get even higher against lefties, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Telly. And so much of success at this level has to do with confidence. You talk to Dale Swaim, and there are some mechanical issues, and Billy has been coming out early, working on that, trying to get himself back to where he was. But if he gets some results early tonight, then you would imagine success would follow, because confidence has been an issue with him.
No doubt, particularly against right-handed pitching. To get that feeling back that he had a few years ago. Hitters are always tinkering with their stance, whether it be their feet, their hands, where they position themselves in the batter's box. I mean, it's an ongoing process. I don't think too many hitters start one way in spring training and end up that way at the end of September.
Dale Swaim was saying earlier that this game, there's so much failure in this game from the offensive side of it. If pitchers at this level make their pitches, there's a good chance they're going to get you out. Obviously, you know the story. If you succeed 33% of the time, you're going into the Hall of Fame. So it's Dale's job, in his words, to make sure these guys realize how good they are and how talented they are just to be at this level.
And keep things simple. You don't want to have things too complicated. You don't want to be thinking about too much when you're up there at the plate. Just see the ball and swing at it.
Swaim talking it over with Jody Garrett. As straightforward as it gets. Mike Cameron draws the walk. So a couple of walks for the Brewers. This time it leads off an inning.
Major League Baseball and People magazine are recognizing individuals who have made a difference in their community. Go to peopleallstars.com and vote for your favorite everyday All-Star who could represent your club and be honored at the 2009 All-Star Game in St. Louis, July 14th, only on Fox.
Here is Corey Hart with a man on. Hart's another guy that he's trying to get back on track. Well, every team goes through their ebbs and flows, and you're going to have times of struggle. The Brewers overall playing pretty consistent baseball, but their road record as of late a little bit in suspect. Although they did have a nice series win against the Atlanta Braves. I think the Brewers, though, they show up to the ballpark today. They look at the standings after a tough loss last night. They're 2.5 games up. They remain one of the best teams since April 22nd was kind of the day that started this run for Milwaukee.
They just got to get through the tough times. I mean, the Chicago Cubs this year already had an 8-game losing streak. The Cardinals have lost 5 in a row. Just have to figure out a way to stay out of those long losing streaks. I mean, it's one thing to have a 3-8 stretch. You just want to avoid those 0-7s. And a good way to start that would be for Corey Hart to get hot. And a nice approach right there. De La Rosa with the fastball middle in. Corey keeping the hands in and fighting it off into center field. That's a good approach. Sometimes Corey gets a bit pull conscious. Nothing wrong with getting jammed once in a while.
Well, a good start to the second inning. 2 on for Milwaukee. And here's Mike Rivera. Rivera starts behind the plate every 5th day when Dave Bush starts on the mound. Ken Maka won't go so far to call him his personal catcher, but that's pretty much how it maps out this season. Rivera has not started a game behind the plate for any other starting pitcher.
And it's all about continuity. It's not that Rivera can't catch anybody else or that Dave Bush doesn't want to throw to Kendall. It's just an opportunity to keep Rivera fresh, as you mentioned.
Rivera making his 10th start of the year. Rivera has some power. He hasn't shown it much in his 2 big league seasons with Milwaukee, but he takes a big swing, has a lot of bat speed.
No, it's tough to get consistent power when you're only playing once a week. It really is. The fact that he's hitting 300 is an amazing thing in itself.
Yeah, and he was able to hit 300 last year in very little playing time. In a year where Jason Kendall set a franchise record for games caught. 149 games caught for Kendall last year.
That one got a piece of the home plate umpire.
Now, but Phil Cuzzy's a Jersey guy. He's tough.
He can take it. That's not the first time. Won't be the last.
Well, we'll see if the Brewers can cash in early here tonight. 2 on with nobody out. Rivera down in the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Last year, Rivera only played in 21 games and made only 15 starts as he makes his 10th start tonight. Gives you an idea of how little he played, and yet despite the limited playing time a season ago, Mike Rivera hit .306 last year. And he's been able to keep his batting average over 300 this season. .303 to start the day with 2 runs batted in. Cameron with good speed at second. He should score on a base hit. And Rivera grounds one to Tulowitzki. Got to hurry here. The snap throw from second in time. Double play ball. As Rivera rolls into the 6-4-3 double play. 2 outs with 1 swing of the bat.
Yeah, good turn by Clint Barmas. Mike Rivera, a double play candidate, doesn't run all that well. Tulowitzki had to go into the hole. You can see the throw a little bit off by Tulowitzki, but Barmas was able to handle it and turn the double play and got Rivera easily at first base. This is another reason why hitting 300 for Rivera is an amazing thing. Not only part-time, but really doesn't run all that well. Not too many infield hits.
So Bill Hall batting with 2 outs and a runner at third. And we'll see how aggressive De La Rosa will be with the pitcher Dave Bush on deck. See if we can see Bill Hall's new toe tap. Very Prince Fielder like.
Yep. He taps it before he actually puts it down. That's new. Made a couple of adjustments with his upper body as well. Trying to stay back, quieten everything up.
To the right side, and Barmas will retire Hall. The Brewers had 2 on, nobody out. They cannot score, and we head to the third at Miller Park. Blaine Farm and Fleet. You'll always find value at your local Farm and Fleet. By Piggly Wiggly. Shop the pig and save. And by Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin. Miller Park, Milwaukee, and we are pleased to be joined now by Brewers General Manager Doug Melvin to talk, amongst other things, the draft. First of all, from your perspective, how's the draft going? How did Bruce Side do in his first year in the hot seat?
Well, Bruce and his staff did a great job. They didn't really miss a beat from what we've done in the past because of their experiences here with our organization. So they knew each other. Their scouts all knew each other. Bruce had his area scouts coming in a couple of weeks ago and going over all the players, had his cross-checkers here the entire time the last few days, and they put in a lot of hours.
Tell us about Eric Arnett from Indiana University. What can we expect of him? Where's he going to head once he gets signed?
Well, he's a player that wants to go out, he wants to sign and wants to play, which is it's great news compared to some of the other players that you hear about. And he wants to get his career started. We've had success doing that with Ryan Braun and Prince and Ricky. And Eric will probably, we don't know, we'll probably go to Helena at this point, but he's logged a lot of innings this year, a lot of games. He had a lot of high pitch counts. So we'll just take our time this summer. But he's a big 6'5" right-hander. Power type pitcher, got a good slider, and basketball player. Had Tom Crean call me and tell me what great makeup, what great competitor he was. So The good part about the draft with him and Kyle Heckathorn is the physicality of the pitchers that we took early on.
Is there an emphasis on selecting college players or high school players as you go through the draft, or is that just something that happens?
No, it's just something that happens. Some teams have a preference. They may go college. And each year, you don't know. Each year it could be a good college group. Another year it could be a good high school group. This year is pretty good combination. It seemed to be a lot of high school outfielders, but a lot of college pitchers in that. But from our perspective, we always take the best talent that's available because, we've hit on college players like Ryan Braun and Ricky Weeks, and then you got high school players like Prince Fielder and JJ. And the one thing about the high school players, you got a chance to get a good young star. For example, Prince and Ryan are exactly the same age. You got a high school player and a college player both playing in the big leagues.
Well, it's fitting that the draft is going on right now with the Brewers and the Rockies doing battle this week, because two organizations that have utilized the draft very well, and certainly the Brewers, you guys, you talked about the big name players that you've hit on. What's the secret? What's the idea to be able to draft these kind of players who are going to produce at the caliber these guys are producing?
Well, you have to have trust in your scouts. I like stability in a scouting staff. I think that if you have stability with the scouting staff, the Minnesota Twins are probably one of the organizations that you look at, and they have scouts working with their organization for 15, 20, 25 years. And you can't always be changing scouting directors, changing scouting staffs, because different philosophy takes time to get used to each other and that. But you got to trust your scouts. You got to trust the people in charge. The scouts have to trust your player development people. Bruce and Reed Nichols have a good relationship, and once they pass them on to Reed, then they develop them. So they'll develop them and get them up here to the big leagues, and then you got to hope your general manager doesn't trade them.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Puts him in the hot seat.
Yeah. I asked the guys when I left today, I said, are any of these guys tradable yet?
Well, you make a good point, because not only does the draft allow you to produce big league players that help your own organization, but as we saw in the CC Sabathia, the Matt LaPorta situation, you had talent that other organizations wanted, and you were able to make a trade like that.
Yeah, if you're deep enough, you're able to do that. You can't do that year after year after year, because there's times where you're going to have to replace your own young players and that. And, Doug Reynolds, who signed Matt Gamble, is a cross-checker that's in here, and he's enjoying the heck out of watching Matt play and hit the home run last night. And that. So it's a real thrill to the scouts when a player comes up here to the big leagues and performs up here. And, with Escobar, another premium guy we have in the system, and that we still have some players coming through, but you can't go out and trade all your young players year after year.
Now, I asked you a question between innings. It was a very interesting discussion.
Well, that one's going to fly over the head of Mike Cameron as Barmas comes up with an extra base hit with 2 outs.
You had a very interesting response to my question to you as to evaluate the talent pool in this year's draft, this year's amateur draft, and explain what you said regarding that.
Well, the reason that the talent pool gets a little thinner each year is because there's so many players that will send in emails to us or letters to us that they don't want to sign unless they're getting X amount of dollars. Mm-hmm. So we have a whole board of unsignable players. So you take unsignable players out of the talent pool, then the talent pool gets a lot thinner. And, you're going to end up, you could go 50 rounds, but you get to a point when you get into 25 rounds, you're running out of players at the draft. But, our draft is so much different than the NFL and the NBA or the NHL. It's all those drafts are strictly based off of player talent. We spend so much time, energy, talking about signability, because our draft is based a lot off of signability. Who wants to play? And it is a shame that the baseball draft, it used to be a privilege to be able to get the opportunity to play professional baseball. Yeah. I was in the training room earlier, and we were talking with I was talking with Mike Rivera and Mark DeFelice and Jeff Suppan. We were talking about some of the bonuses that they're hearing with $10 and $12 million, and Mark DeFelice put his hand up and said, "I got $1,000," and Rivera got $2,500, and they're big league players, and that. So that's the frustrating part of our draft, and it really does need to have a complete overhaul for it to work the right way.
Well, Doug, thanks for your time. I know it's been a busy day for you. Congratulations.
Hey, Brewer fans, elect your favorite Brewers to the 2009 All-Star team. Vote early, vote often, and vote Brewers now through July 2nd at Brewers.com.
That was good to get a few minutes with General Manager Doug Melvin talking about the draft and the multi-layered process that it is to get a player not only drafted but signed. As we head to the bottom of the third inning, Dave Bush leads off, then back to the top of the order. Now the agents have so much to do with the signability these days, and it can be a challenge for an organization.
That story he told about, that list of 50 players that they just won't sign because they can't afford. That's amazing to me that a kid will allow an agent to influence his decision like that. I mean, they always have said, the pot of gold is at the end of the rainbow, not in the beginning. When you get signed, you go through the minor leagues, that's when you make your big money. And it's kind of been a little bit reversed over the course of the last few years.
Well, and that's the big challenge in baseball, because a guy will come into a big league setting and he's already a multi-millionaire and he hasn't played a day in the major leagues. And obviously, as the generation moves forward, you're going to get guys who didn't sign for the big dollars.
And the incentive to get good and get to the big leagues is much less, isn't it?
The wolf at the door does not exist in a lot of examples because of the financial stability that exists.
You don't work hard, you show up late, and they release you, so what? You got all the money you're ever going to need.
That's good. Well, it's definitely a system that could use some looking at. I'm not sure exactly how you would go about fixing it. Casey McGee lines one down the left field line. That's going to go to the wall. And Casey McGee rolls into second base with a stand-up double. Second hit of the game, McGee, a bullet down the left field line.
Yeah, De La Rosa tried to slip a fastball by him. McGee struck out on a changeup his first time up and whistles it right down the left field line, up and in. Boy, look at the way he pops those hips open, keeps the barrel of the bat on plane and rips it down the line for a one-out double. The big boy's coming up with a man in scoring position.
McGee, for the first time in his career, in the leadoff spot, and responds with an extra base hit. That's exactly why Maka wanted him in front of Hardy and Braun and Fielder. The ability to slug a little bit and put yourself into scoring position with one swing of the bat. Milwaukee had 2 on with nobody out to start the second inning and could not score.
Nice So far, De La Rosa has done a nice job mixing his pitches. Haven't seen too many of the slow curveballs he likes to throw to the right-handed hitters. Pretty much 50-50 between slider and curveball. We haven't seen that yet. It's been basically fastball, slider, and changeup, and he's had pretty good command, although he's walked a couple.
Well, last year was De La Rosa's best strikeout season, spending most of the year in the starting rotation for the Rockies. Struck out 128 batters, but walked 62 batters. Was a double-digit winner a year ago. 10 wins for De La Rosa, 8 losses. And he gets Hardy on a down-and-in breaking ball. And it's out number 2, and the third strikeout for De La Rosa. Well, time now for our U.S. Cellular text to vote question of the night. Most deserving position player of an all-star spot. And there are your choices. Short code 234234, and your answer is W for Braun, X Fielder, Y for Cameron, Z for Hardy. Right now, Braun still inside the fan voting as a starter in the outfield. It's one of the top 3 outfield vote getters. Braun number 2 in fan voting right now, behind Raul Ibanez. Ryan trying to make it back-to-back years as the starting left fielder for the National League All-Stars. Bouncer over to third, just foul. Well, our 4 candidates. Remember, pitchers are selected by the managers. We're talking about the starting nod via fan vote here. Braun, big numbers once again this year. Prince Fielder is 15 home runs, 6th best in the league, and he's 2nd in RBIs behind Ibanez with 54. Cameron's having a great season. Check his numbers against National League center fielders.
Yeah. On base percentage over 100 points higher than his batting average. He's just getting on base.
No balls, 2 strikes on Braun with McGee at second. Tried that same pitch he struck out Hardy on. He missed.
Now you talk about respect for a left-handed hitter. The guy on deck, the Colorado Rockies, going right after Ryan Braun, who wears out left-handed pitching, and in particular has had very good numbers against De La Rosa. Still not willing to pitch around him.
Braun does a lot of damage with 2 strikes. Covers the plate very well. And that one's ripped into the gap. And McGee will score easily. That's going to go to the wall. And Ryan Braun into second, thinking about third, and wisely holds up. An RBI double for Braun with 2 strikes and 2 outs. And the Brewers are on the board in the 3rd inning.
Well, absolutely amazing. And we talked about the respect that the league has for Prince. Doesn't matter if it's lefty versus lefty. They go right after Ryan Braun, who's got as good a numbers as anybody in baseball against lefties, and De La Rosa. Fastball right down the middle. Ryan able to bang it into the gap to break the seal for the Brewers. They're up 1-0.
Casey McGee, who doubled with 1 out, scores easily. Braun thought about third for a moment. And with Fielder coming up and 2 outs in the inning, he wisely puts the brakes on.
They didn't even think about pitching around Ryan Braun. Not even an inkling of it.
And a guy who is hitting .436 against left-handed pitching this year. But the threat of Fielder behind him allows Braun to see some pretty good pitches. Rockies play it straight up against Fielder, which is the evolving trend in the National League. Only a few teams still put the shift on with Prince at the plate.
No, that's because he uses the whole field, particularly against lefties. His last time up, he hit it pretty well, but right back to De La Rosa. Against left-handed pitching, very willing to go center field around to the left field line.
Braun takes off. Fielder swings and misses. Braun is in there with a stolen base. That is a risky move, but Braun makes it his 4th stolen base of the year.
Man, a little too close. I mean, if you're going to steal third base with 2 outs with Prince at the plate, you better make it a little bit easier than what Ryan was able to get in there. I mean, very close at third base, but he beat it. Very close. Ooh. Boy, closer on the second replay. Check that out. Boy, just by an inch. Sometimes you distract the hitter when you take off like that.
Fielder slices one into the gap. Well hit. Back is Fowler, and he cannot make the play. Braun scores. Fielder into second. In and out of the glove of Dexter Fowler, and it's 2-0 Brewers.
That's what we're talking about. Lefty versus lefty. Very willing to use the opposite field. Boy, what a nice swing that Prince put on that baseball. My goodness, he's just seeing the baseball so well right now. And De La Rosa has been throwing pretty well. I mean, a fastball out over the plate. Not sure why they didn't go with that slider. That slider's been a very good pitch for him, and that ball's got to be caught. Mistimed leap. Remember that warning track here at Miller Park, much wider than most. I think Fowler thought he was closer to the wall than he actually was.
Yeah, that's a great point. You feel the warning track at Miller Park, you actually have about another step or 2 before you hit the wall, as opposed to warning tracks in other ballparks. And Fowler made the early leap, and it went in and out of his glove. Fielder credited with a double and an RBI, gives him 55 for the year. And here is Mike Cameron with 2 outs. 3 doubles in the inning. Braun and Fielder driving runs with 2 baggers. No news yet on the appeal for Mike Cameron. He was suspended 2 games by Major League Baseball for making contact with an umpire in Atlanta. Cameron appealed that ruling, and it's still in the process. And once that appeal process comes to fruition, then the final decision is what it is, and the Brewers will have to deal with it.
They really don't have anything to lose by appealing the decision. You're not going to get any more. As you take a look at Bruce Fleming, still works with Major League Baseball and the umpires. We're going to be talking to Bruce about that exact situation in our instructional tonight. Going to ask Bruce what players can get away with, what they can't get away with, and what would constitute a bump and what wouldn't.
Yeah, maybe you should make a DVD of it, Rock. Hand it out to some of the ball clubs.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be not only an instructional video for our audience, but also,
players.
Major League Baseball players.
Send it to the union, maybe. They might want to do something with it.
Did you ever get tossed bumping an umpire? Did you ever bump an umpire?
Heavens, no. I had to work hard enough to get in the game. Let alone worry about getting out of the game. You kidding me?
Now Cameron down on strikes, and the side retired. De La Rosa strikes out the side, but he gives up 3 doubles in the process. McGee a 1. Time now for the Carsoup.com email the booth question. Ryan from Eau Claire wants to know, can the Brewers continue all season with a platoon at second and third base? Interesting question to ponder today. I will tell you this, Ryan, in Eau Claire. Ken Maka does not like the word platoon and will not use it. He doesn't feel like it's a platoon right now because as manager, he has the right to make up the lineup. A platoon means it's going to be a guaranteed right-handed batter against a lefty, and vice versa.
I think you can get away with a platoon at one position. I think maybe at second base. But the one thing you really don't like to see too much is your leadoff hitter in and out of the lineup. I mean, we've always said up here, and all your good clubs, the teams that are going to be into the postseason, at least the first four in that order are in there every single day. You know, you're going to give a guy a day off, but you really don't want to have too many platoons at the top of your order. You can get away with it at the bottom. And I think that's what Ken Maka is most concerned about, the fact that his leadoff hitter, top of his order, is involved in a platoon or a soft platoon, whatever you want to call it.
And it's not to say that Casey McGee cannot hit right-handers, nor Matt Gamble success against left-handers, because both have proven they can be successful in the minor leagues playing every day. So, you know, this is, for lack of a better word, kind of an evaluation period for all three of these guys. Counsell and Hall, McGee and Hall and Gamble. You know, Counsell is going to get his playing time. But even if Counsell is sent back into a bench role and a backup infielder's role, then that's originally where he was slated.
And in a perfect scenario, that's where he is best used. You spot start him, you put him in a double switch early in the ball game, you don't lose a whole lot.
Good play by Dave Bush. And Brad Hawk is retired, one gone here in the fourth. Aflac trivia question tonight. Who are the two active players with a better career average than Todd Helton? Good question. I didn't know there were two active players with a higher batting average. It's not by much.
That is a good question.
Well, Ian Stewart grounded out his last time up. Even in a ball and a strike. I would imagine that Todd Helton is having a great influence on these young Colorado hitters. Guys like Stewart and Tulowitzki, Brad Hawk. It's a pretty tight-knit group, the Rockies. We saw that during the 07 World Series run. You know, a lot of teams will tell you it's easy to be tight-knit and have good chemistry when things are going well, when you're winning. It's when you're struggling that you find out about the character of a ball club.
Are we allowed to make some attempts at this question?
Sure.
How about Ichiro? Would he be one of them?
Ichiro's a good guess. Maybe Chipper Jones.
Chipper, yeah.
Last year's batting champion.
Albert.
So those are three solid guesses. Anybody else you think of?
That's about it. I'm going to concentrate on the game now.
Did your headset just get a little tighter right there?
Yeah, it did. Wow.
Full count to Ian Stewart with one away. Jumped after one. Got out ahead of it. Hall makes a call. J.J. Hardy standing there, and he's got it for the out. Two gone. Our Cabot Woodstains legendary performance. We take you back to 1981 on this date. Pete Rose of the Phillies ties Stan Musial for the most hits in National League history. Rose collects hit number 3630 against Nolan Ryan of the Houston Astros. The hit king, Pete Rose. Boy, hard to believe. 1981, huh?
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Man.
Where's the time going?
Well, the Brewers were pennant contenders back in '81 and then went to the World Series in '82. And we know what Pete Rose is doing these days. Some of you might not know that Nolan Ryan is now in the front office. He is the president of the Texas Rangers. Also owns a couple of minor league ball clubs that are in the Houston Astros organization.
Well, it's had a very good effect on the Texas Rangers. How about them? First place. 3 games up on the Angels. That's got to be the big surprise in baseball.
Oh, no
I mean,
question.
to date, right now, I mean, that's got to be something nobody had foreseen.
Well, the Rangers are doing a lot of damage without Josh Hamilton, who is back on the disabled list. Kevin Millwood having a terrific season for the Rangers. By the way, we want to send out our best to Rangers radio broadcaster Eric Nadel, who had eye surgery, a detached retina for Eric Nadel. Had to leave a ball game in New York. I understand he's back tonight, so good friend of ours, and glad he's back in the booth working the game tonight. He's working the game with a patch, calling the game with one eye. High fly ball to right, well hit. This one's got a chance to go, and it is gone. Troy Tulowitzki puts the Rockies on the board with a 2-out home run here in the 4th inning. Every base runner tonight for the Rockies has come with 2 outs.
And if you're going to give up the home runs, solo shots aren't going to hurt you too bad. Brewers still have the lead. Tulowitzki a pitch up and away. Doesn't try and pull it and drives it out of here over that Rockies bullpen. That was a pretty good piece of hitting by Tulowitzki. And a mistake by Bush. Hasn't made too many tonight.
7th home run of the season for Tulowitzki, and his 2nd home run in his last 3 games. Tulowitzki had a stretch of 77 at-bats without a home run until he hit the long ball against the Cardinals on Monday.
The Phillies are having all kinds of pitching problems, aren't they? Next to last in team earned run average in the National League. Had 2 Phillies on that home run list. Brett Myers and Jamie Moyer.
And Brett Myers is out for the season with that hip injury.
17 home runs he's allowed.
The Phillies also placed Brad Lidge on the disabled list. So Philadelphia with all kind of trouble, but you look at the standings and the Phillies with a 2-game lead over the New York Mets in the East. And they're 10 games over 500.
Well, not too many teams better offensively than Philadelphia. And they've had to be because their pitching has been very poor so far.
'23-year-old Carlos Gonzalez with 2 outs. Gets under that one. That looks like it's headed for the seats. And it's 2-2 to Gonzalez. Well, tonight Dave Bush has gotten the first 2 men out in each of the first 4 innings. But then he's given up a walk. Matter of fact, 2 walks, a double, and a home run. 1 base runner in each of the first 4. The Brewers did some damage with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Braun's RBI double came with 2 outs and 2 strikes, as did Prince Fielder's RBI double. Gonzalez draws a walk. So Bush surrenders his 3rd walk. And the inning continues here for the Rockies in the 4th.
That pitch didn't miss by much. Boy, oh boy, just above the belt. It had the plate.
Two gone for Chris Iannetta. Rockies catcher in his second day back in the lineup. Missed 2 weeks with a hamstring injury. Gonzalez has great speed and is a threat to run. Stole his first big league base last night when he stole third in the 7th inning, and it really changed the complexion of the inning. He takes off. Iannetta fouls one away. Looked like he had it stolen, but Iannetta fouls it off, and back he goes.
Well, Dave Bush understands the value of holding runners on. He was a catcher in college. Sometimes can be very quick to home plate. Other times he's got that high leg kick. Yeah, decent lead, no big deal. Didn't look as though he was thinking about running, but took off. And he was at full speed in about 4 steps. This is a definite time to try and steal a base. I mean, if you do steal a base, the Brewers are going to walk Iannetta. They're not going to mess around with him. Jorge De La Rosa on deck. Worst case scenario, you clear the pitcher for the 5th inning. He won't have to lead off the 5th.
Bush with 80 pitches, 50 of those strikes. Tulowitzki with a home run with 2 outs just a moment ago to put the Rockies on the board. The Brewers have RBIs from Braun and Fielder. That one missed upstairs. 2 balls and a strike.
I think Bushy very concerned about whether Gonzalez is going to try and steal a base, and because of that, his location has suffered. Got to be careful with that. There's a fine line between spending too much time worrying about that base runner.
Two and two as Iannetta chases. And a pretty good bet. Gonzalez will be on the move here shortly. Gonzalez came to the Rockies in that deal for Matt Holliday. He and Houston Street came from Oakland to Colorado. And Gonzalez getting his first real chance to play here in 09 in the National League. He can certainly disrupt an inning. He showed it last night. Two balls and 2 strikes. A run is in for Colorado. Bush trying to get through this 4th. There he goes. Iannetta takes the pitch. The throw bounces off Gonzalez. He cannot advance. The pitch looked like a strike, but not called by Phil Cuzzy, and the count goes to 3-2.
I think that's what fooled Mike Rivera. He never got out of his crouch and made a throw. He was on his knees when he threw that baseball, thinking probably that was a strike. Been a couple of very close pitches in this inning called balls. Pretty good lead, good jump by Gonzalez. And that one gets him right in the leg. Just a little bit off the outside corner.
So the Rockies with a man in scoring position. And a full count to Iannetta. Bush got the first 2 out quickly. Then a home run and a walk. And now a stolen base has Colorado threatening. Oh, man, look out over there. Iannetta cues one right over the bat boys' heads and into that Brewers dugout. Apparently Bill Castro headed for the exits on that line drive. Another 3-2 pitch. Walked him. Back-to-back walks. Bush has issued 4 walks in this game. Very uncharacteristic. And now 2 on with 2 outs.
Yeah, Dave Bush came in with 20 walks and almost 70 innings of work, and a lot of them haven't missed by much. A couple of fastballs in that sequence to Iannetta look like good pitches, not called strikes. No argument from anyone, though. Haven't heard or seen any chirping from the Brewer dugout. Mike Rivera seems content with the ball strike calls.
Well, Bill Castro, a quick trip to the mound. Bush being very careful with Iannetta, especially with Gonzalez stealing second base. He wanted to make sure Iannetta hit his pitch if he was going to swing the bat. With the pitcher coming up in De La Rosa. The only time Bush has walked 4 in a game all season was against the Minnesota Twins this year. So 2 on, and De La Rosa swinging at the first pitch, and that's the inning. Colorado strands a pair. They get a run on a Tulowitzki homer. It's 2-1.
Hard for all military and their families, because what they offer to our country is priceless.
As we take a look at our crew in the community for the second year in a row, Jeff Suppan is helping sponsor Soup's Troops, which along with Brewers Charities helps bring us military family to every Brewers home game. The 4 camouflage seats are located behind home plate. He also donates Miller Park vouchers to be used, and the USO donates parking passes to the program. And this is a program that is very near and dear to Jeff Suppan's heart, because he had several family members that have served in the military. So a great cause. Soup's Troops, always a good thing, guys.
All right, Telly, thanks a lot. And something to watch as Suppan prepares for his next start here at Miller Park. Suppan's scheduled to work on Friday in the first game of that series with the White Sox. Gallardo tomorrow for the finale of this series. And then interleague resumes here at Miller Park. It's going to be a big weekend for baseball for sure.
Looking forward to seeing Ozzie Guillen at Miller Park. He's always good for a quote or two every series.
Boy, is that the truth.
He's a lot of fun to be around. I don't know about being on the bench with him all the time, but he was that way as a player, though. Very flamboyant, not afraid to speak his mind. He is who he is. If you don't like it, tough.
As entertaining as it gets. It was a great note about Ozzie Guillen and the young rookie phenom Gordon Beckham. Beckham finally recorded his first major league hit. It's a little bloop single. He was 0 for 13 as he came up, and he got a standing ovation. And Ozzie went on a little bit of a rant.
Yeah.
He said, "You guys do a pretty good PR job, you know. I played here. I've been coaching here. This guy goes 0 for 13. Nobody boos him. He gets a ground ball. Everybody cheers him and
gets a standing ovation on a ground out." Wasn't that one of them?
Standing ovation on a ground out. I hope he sells lots of shirts. But I need him to produce.
Yeah.
Classic Ozzie. Two to one, the Brewers lead the Rockies. One away here in the fourth. And Rivera, his second at bat against De La Rosa. Rivera grounded into a key double play in the second. Brewers had 2 on with nobody out. And it was a 6-4-3 double play. Hall made the final out. The Brewers came up empty. But they did scratch 2 across in the third. 3 doubles in the third inning for Milwaukee. McGee, Braun, and Fielder. And Braun and Fielder with RBIs. Bernie's ready to slide. Looking especially handsome tonight, isn't he? That is a fair ball. What a play by Stewart, and the throw is on the mark. Terrific play by the Rocky third baseman. And Rivera is put out. 2 gone in the fourth.
Now the key to that play for Stewart is he didn't assume that was going to be a foul ball or a fair ball. You got to play it as if it's going to be fair. And if it's foul, you haven't lost anything. But if you think it's foul and you don't do anything and it's fair, then you really look bad. Nice play at third base.
Well, made a couple of nice plays last night. And this one robs Rivera of a base hit. So 2 outs, and here is Bill Hull. Well, it's one thing to face major league pitching. It's another thing to try to make mechanical adjustments on the fly against major league pitching. Right down in the skillet in front of a big crowd. A bouncer to Stewart again. Another nice pickup. And the throw is there. So 3 up, 3 down. De La Rosa retires the side in order. And our Aflac trivia tonight. Who are the two active players with a better career batting average than Todd Helton? Good question tonight. Helton,
Aflac,
one of the great hitters in the game. Albert Pujols and Ichiro Suzuki with a minimum 3,000 plate appearances. Helton is a career .328 hitter. So Schroeder is on the mark once again. Good job, partner. Albert Pujols tops that list, .334 batting average.
That is a very short list of guys that have a career batting average that high. Not just active. You go back 50 years with a career batting average as high as the one Helton, Totes, and Albert Pujols, Ichiro. Some kind of hitters.
Pujols at the top of the list. Helton just behind him. Vladimir Guerrero is a bit of a surprise. A great hitter, but a big average as well. .322 career average. I didn't realize he was that high.
And with the pitches that he swings at. Ordinarily, when you have a batting average over 300, you're going to walk a lot. I mean, you got to walk 100 times or fairly close.
Bush strikes out Dexter Fowler. Third time he has punched out in this game. And one gone in the fifth.
But the swing of the pitches that Vladimir Guerrero swings at and still hits 300, that's amazing. A good location with that fastball for Bush. Down in the zone on the corner.
Well, you got Helton and Ichiro, left-handed hitters. Pujols, of course, a right-handed slugger, and among the tops in baseball in the all-time career batting average, most of them are left-handed. Ty Cobb is the all-time batting average leader, a .366 career batting average. That's just crazy to even think about. .366 for a career.
Yeah.
But then Rogers Hornsby, great second baseman of the Cardinals, is second on that list at .359. That one's driven down the line. Barmes has another hit and another extra base hit. Back-to-back doubles for Clint Barmes, and the Rockies put the tying run in scoring position for Todd Helton.
Breaking ball up in the strike zone, left it on the inner half and up in the zone, and Barmes sitting there waiting for it and rips it down the line. This guy's putting together a pretty nice season, hitting around 300.
And it's all been since Jim Tracy inserted him into the two-hole in this Rockies lineup. This is the 13th game Barmes has batted second. He's raised his batting average from the low 240s to near 300 now. He has 18 hits already in the month of June, which covers that stretch. This is only the 10th game. And 7 of his last 8 games, multiple hit games.
That'll raise an average. Wow. You betcha.
So Helton batting with a tying run at second and 1 out. And Bush, a close shave in there.
You know, one of the reasons why left-handers, some would say, have a bit of an advantage because, you know, far and away there are more right-handed pitchers than left-handed pitchers. Ball coming into them all the time. Plus, when there's a man at first base, there's a big hole over there between first and second. And a lot of left-handed hitters use that to their advantage.
Of the top 10 all-time batting average leaders, 8 of them are left-handed. Only Rogers Hornsby and Ed Delahanty right-handed. Among active players, Youkilis is second on that list, the right-handed bat.
Dave Bush pitch count starting to get in the danger zone. We're nearing 100 pitches already in 5 innings.
Dangerous part of this Rockies lineup. Helton to be followed by Brad Hawpe. And the extra base hit has Colorado knocking on the door to tie it up. Big cut by Helton. Tied him up. 3-2 the count.
Yeah, good cut fastball by Dave Bush. Effective against lefties. Helton thought he had a good pitch to hit. It just ran in on his hands.
That one's driven to left center. That's down for a hit, and we are tied up. Helton on his way to second. Braun's throw is off the mark, and it's a double and an RBI for Todd Helton. All even at 2 here in the 5th.
Well, you just can't work behind Todd Helton too often and get away with it. 3-1 pitch, he was able to get him to swing and miss, but left that last fastball out over the plate. It was supposed to be in, left it on the outer half, and Helton went right with it to left field and tied it up. It's another attribute of a guy that hits 300, uses the whole field.
Only twice in his long big league career that covers 13 seasons has he failed to hit 300. That one's driven to right center. That is going to get down and roll to the wall. Brad Hawpe drives in Helton, and the Colorado Rockies have strung together 3 straight doubles in this 5th inning and have a 3-2 lead.
And not waiting around. That looked like an off-speed pitch, and Hawpe able to wait back and knock it into the gap to give the Rockies a 1-run lead. So 3 doubles in as many at-bats after a leadoff strikeout. Another curveball. This time looked like Hawpe was waiting for it. Left it down the middle of the plate. And you see Cameron was shaded around toward left field. And by the time he got to it, Brad Hawpe with an RBI double.
No, you just don't see many hitters offer at a first pitch breaking ball. That's usually a get over pitch for Dave Bush. Hawpe jumps on it and delivers with his 44th run batted in on his 18th double of the year.
And we saw Brad Hawpe do that last night with Braden Looper on the mound, a first pitch splitter. Banged it into left field for a base hit. So maybe one of those guys that does go up there early in the count looking off speed. He certainly looked as though he's been doing that.
Well, this game feels a lot like last night's game. Just like last night, the Brewers jumped on top 2-0. And then the Rockies came roaring back. 7 doubles combined. Brewers had 3 doubles in the 3rd inning. The Rockies with 3 consecutive doubles here in the 5th. Ian Stewart now. Stewart is 0 for 2 against Bush tonight. A ground out and a pop-up. He's had him out in front both times. Dangerous location. Ian Stewart had a streak of multi-hit games as well. He had 5 consecutive games with at least 2 hits on this road trip. Big hack. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Stewart.
Had a pitch to hit right there. They tried to crowd him with a fastball, left it out over the plate. Bush has that late tailing fastball that sometimes he tries to work in off the corner. And then with some late movement catches the edge. He'll do that to a left-handed hitter. Try and bust it in on their hands, but he's leaving that pitch over the plate tonight. Two and two.
Big boys doing the damage for the Rockies in this inning. Barmas, Helton, and Haupt. 3 consecutive doubles. 2 runs are in. The Rockies lead 3-2. It has been a battle tonight for Busch. Pitch count is well over 100 now. He's at 106 pitches. Ken Maka hoping he can somehow get through this 5th inning.
Yeah, he's due to lead off the bottom of the 5th.
Another 2-2 coming to Ian Stewart. Off the end of the bat, Hall's got a nice big hop. And Hall dekes Brad Haupt, and the Brewers get a lead out. That's a big play. Hall out of his peripheral saw Haupt take off, and it was an easy out.
Well, you can't really blame Brad Haupt because he figured that Billy was just going to go to first base. Check it out. Haupt playing behind the bag. Haupt with a big lead over at second base. Took a peek and saw him as he was going to third, able to get that lead runner. That is a big play. Now it's going to take an extra base hit to score the run. Not sure if you can classify that as a bad base running play. That was just a very good defensive play. Most guys are going to take off on that.
Now brings up Tulowitzki with a runner at first and 2 outs, as opposed to a runner at third with 2 away. Tulowitzki home in his last time up. His 7th home run of the season.
The other thing about that play, did you see where J.J. Hardy was heading? He was heading to third base. I mean, that's good heads-up defense. Nothing else to do. Yeah, Casey McGee covering the bag at second. J.J. busting it over to third base.
Runner takes off, and no chance for a throw for Rivera. So Ian Stewart with a stolen base. 2nd stolen base of the game for Colorado. Stewart's 3rd bag of the season.
Well, when's the last time you saw a Colorado team run like the way these guys have been?
Yeah, that's the Rockies under Jim Tracy.
Ever?
Never. With so many bangers in their lineup. Well, the Rockies do have a man in scoring position now. Tulowitzki strikes out. Busch came high and tight. And the inning is over, but Colorado scores twice. 3 straight. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
And tonight's time of the game winner is the Wheel Inn, located in Shullsburg, Wisconsin. If they call the Brewers By 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Jorge De La Rosa back on the mound for the Rockies, and he'll face Jody Garrett leading off. Garrett jumping on the first pitch. And one out here in the 5th inning. Now, the story last night for the Brewers, after they jumped on the Rockies early and scored 2 runs in the first 2 innings, their pitching settled down Colorado, and they retired the final 16 Brewers at the plate. Ken Maka hoping not for a repeat performance tonight. The Brewers back at the top of their order. There's a lot of questions last night about the pitching for Milwaukee and some of the pitching changes and the moves that were made. But for me, last night's story was offensive more than anything else.
You can't lay that one on the pitching last night. No way. Brewers used 4 pitchers in the 7th inning. DeFelice came in to face a right-handed batter. Then the Rockies had 2 lefties. You don't want to have DeFelice facing left-handed batters. You just don't. You'd rather have Coffey coming in there with that sinker going away, more of a ground ball pitcher with a man at third. And then Mitch Stetter.
And when you're not scoring runs, pitching is certainly exposed. And yes, the Brewers had a 2-0 lead, but Milwaukee stopped producing offensively after the 2nd inning. After the 2nd inning, just 2 hits. And after the 4th inning, they were down in order the rest of the way. McGee, another good at bat. And a 1-out walk has McGee aboard for J.J. Hardy.
And sometimes you have to tip your hat to the opposition and their pitching staff. Hamill did a nice job settling down after his first 2 innings. Daly, Corpus, and Houston Street all did a pretty good job. Sometimes that happens, folks.
Jim Tracy's club is hot right now. The longest winning streak in the National League. They've won 6 in a row. And amazingly, they've won all 6 of these games on the road. They started their road trip, which is an 11-gamer, 0-3 in Houston. They won the final game of that series, then swept the Cardinals in a 4-gamer in St. Louis, and then won the opener of this series last night.
Colorado Rockies are 9-14 at home. And because of this good stretch that they're on right now, they're only 1 game under 500 away from Coors Field. And the reason for that, who knows?
Just keep showing up and keep playing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine what was going through the minds of Rockies fans after they lost the first 3 games in Houston to start this road trip, with the Cardinals and the Brewers coming up next on their road trip, 2 of the top teams in the National League Central. And they haven't lost since.
Yeah, World Series champs are 2 games under 500 at home and 21-9 on the road. Go figure.
Hardy down on the count again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. JJ is 0 for 2. And a check on McGee at first. De La Rosa just must have not been ready to throw a baseball, because certainly the Rockies know the Brewers don't run. And it's a pretty good bet that McGee's not running.
Particularly on a count of 1-2.
In the dirt. Good play by Chris Iannetta. Keeps the double play intact.
Yeah, he went a long way to block that one. Breaking pitch in the dirt. Not even close. Iannetta able to slide across and keep it in front of him.
Rockies looking for a ground ball here. And Hardy takes ball 3. And now you might consider sending McGee. With a 3-2 count to Hardy. Ryan Braun would be next. Hardy down on strikes. Good changeup from De La Rosa, and JJ swung at ball 4, second out of the inning.
Take advantage of the Harley-Davidson double play for just $20. You get one Terrace Reserve ticket to one of 10 Brewers games and get one adult admission ticket to the Harley-Davidson Museum. For details, call 414-902-4000.
I think we're doing a game from out there, aren't we?
The Harley deck, is that in July sometime?
Going to set up our booth out there in the Harley deck.
Yeah.
July 27th. Right around the corner, Rock.
Are there any laboratories out there anywhere close?
I don't know. There are other ways. Well, quick trip to the mound for Bob Akpadaka, the Rockies pitching coach. Ryan Braun has not only destroyed left-handed pitching this year, but De La Rosa specifically in his career. Ryan is now 6 for 7 against De La Rosa in his career. 6 hits and 7 at-bats. And 7 runs batted in.
And not sure what Bob Apodaca had to say to De La Rosa regarding that. Maybe he's reminding him of those numbers.
But what's the next sentence?
Yeah, be careful, but don't walk him.
Thanks, Coach.
You got Prince on deck.
You got 2 outs. Just get him out. Get out of this inning. Make good pitches. Don't walk him. And then the pitching coach leaves him out, and the pitcher is left standing with.
So why even go out?
No kidding. Oh, you never know. He might have had a piece of wisdom to pass along as Braun takes a strike. Braun with an RBI double in the 3rd inning. His 39th run batted in. Fielder followed with an RBI double. Brewers led 2-0 after 3 innings. Rockies now lead 3-2. 3 balls and a strike. Well, this should be an action pitch for the Brewers. Fielder looming on deck. Braun representing the go-ahead run. 3-2.
Kind of took a little bit off the fastball that time. A dead fish fastball, 85 miles an hour. Didn't have the break of a slider. More of a BP fastball that fooled Braun.
Braun's double back in the 3rd came with 2 strikes. Going with a changeup. McGee takes off, and Braun takes ball 4. 2 men are on for the Brewers with 2 outs. And it sets up a matchup between De La Rosa and Prince Fielder.
They have 4 walks now for De La Rosa. 4 walks and 4 hits. 8 base runners in 4+, which isn't bad.
Josh Fogg springs to action here. You could see Jim Tracy making a move after this hitter. If Fielder reaches. Big spot. Brewers down a run with 2 on and 2 out. And their best hitter at the plate.
Well, last time up, De La Rosa gave him a fastball up and away, and Prince able to drive it into left center. Started him out with a slider that time.
Fielder now tied with Ibanez for the National League lead in RBIs. Leads the National League in RBIs per plate appearance. Or per at bat, I should say. Has an RBI every 3.7 at bats. Best in the league. The 1-1. Curveball strike. Spins in there at the top of the zone, and it's 1-2.
Boy. The ball looked up. It might have been in. Well, what a difference. A 1-2 count as opposed to 2-1.
It was a 2-strike double by Prince that drove in Braun in the third. The Brewers leaning on their big slugger once again here in the fifth. And Fielder down on strikes. De La Rosa punches out a big hitter, and the Brewers strand. On Fox Sports Wisconsin is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery and its family of instant scratch games. Odds are you'll like them. By Airtran. Go. There's nothing stopping you. And by Aflac. We've got you under our wing.
Well, the double to Prince Fielder, his last at bat came on a fastball. The Rockies weren't going to mess around with that. Slider for a strike. And he misses outside. There's the pitch that made the big difference, the curveball. That could have gone either way. And then finishes Prince off with a slider down and away. Good job of pitching by De La Rosa. Put the breaking pitches right where he wanted.
So Fielder strands a pair. Sixth strikeout for Jorge De La Rosa. And the Rockies still lead it. The Brewers send up Seth McClung to face the bottom of the Colorado order. Carlos Gonzalez leads off.
That curveball called a strike. I mean, it really put De La Rosa in the driver's seat. If he misses with it, it's called a ball. It's 2-1. Much different at bat for Prince. And Seth McClung making an appearance for the second consecutive night. He pitched a scoreless inning last night, struck out a batter. He's been throwing the baseball very well.
Dave Bush goes 5 innings tonight, 5 hits, 3 runs. Walks 4, which ties the season high, and he struck out 7. And Bush on the hook for the loss right now. Brewers are going to need to swing the bats the rest of the way. 2 runs in for Milwaukee on 4 hits. The Rockies have 3 runs on 5 hits. Gonzalez has been on twice, 2 walks. He's only 23 years of age, Carlos Gonzalez. Jim Tracy has said he wants to make sure he gets about 5 starts a week to see what he can do. Called him up from AAA Colorado Springs. And he walks again, the 3rd walk of the night for Carlos Gonzalez. And a dangerous hitter to have aboard to start an inning.
And the first time that the Rockies have been able to get their leadoff hitter aboard tonight. Even in that 5th inning where they scored 2 runs. Bush started that inning with a strikeout.
Gonzalez with stolen bases in each of the last 2 games. He stole second in the 4th inning. Oh, that hits Iannetta. Not a good start for Seth McClung. The first 2 have reached for Colorado. And the pitcher spot due up. That opens up some options for Jim Tracy here. He can allow his pitcher to hit and drop a bunt down.
And they got him right on the buttocks. That's not going to hurt him too bad. But command really hasn't been much of an issue for McClung. He's been throwing a lot of strikes. We're having a tough time here tonight, at least so far. You're right, De La Rosa has the option of going up there to drop down a bunt to really put the Rockies in business. McClung 18 walks in 32 and 2/3 innings coming in, and most of those walks came very early in the year.
Well, McClung does not give up a lot of hits. His opponent's batting average is in the low 200s. De La Rosa up there to drop a bunt down. Gonzalez has great speed at second, so it's going to be tough to get the lead runner in a spot like this. And that's a good bunt. Billy Hall's only play is to first. So a sacrifice bunt for De La Rosa. It allows him to stay in the game on the mound. And he puts 2 Rockies in scoring position for the top of the order.
Well, he couldn't roll it out there any better than that. That's about as good a bunt as you can lay down with first and second. You want to bunt it down the 3rd baseline. He did it beautifully. And now at the top of the order coming up, the Rockies have men at second and third. Heck of a bunt.
So doing it on the mound and with the bat here. De La Rosa executes. And the Rockies go back to the top of the order. Dexter Fowler, who has struck out 3 times tonight, is back in an RBI position. He hurt the Brewers last night in the 7th when he tied the game with a double. Talented rookie Dexter Fowler. Got a little time in the big leagues last year with the Rockies. Came up late in the season. 13 games in Colorado. Put up huge numbers in Double-A last season. A .335 hitter in the Texas League. Pops him up. Braun coming in. Gonzalez will tag but not chance it. So McClung gets a big out. Fowler pops up for out number 2.
They busted him in on his hands, up and in. I'll tell you, Fowler, a completely different hitter tonight than he was last night. I mean, a completely different swing. But still, he's trying to overswing a bit. He's got the 3 strikeouts and pop up.
Yeah, that's a rally dance right there.
And if McClung able to get out of this inning with nothing across, I might join that young lady.
Still second and third. 2 outs and a hot hitter coming up. Clint Barmas has doubles in each of his 2 at-bats. Barmas doubled and scored in the 5th inning. Had a hit last night, drove in a run. Barmas now with 18 hits in the month of June. Well, you can see why he's a good hitter. Just has that short, quick stroke. Stays right on the baseball.
And he's been all over the breaking pitches in this series so far. That's why McClung probably going to stay hard in on his hand, see what he can do with it.
It was Barmas who put the Rockies on top last night with a sacrifice fly. It was a line drive right at Cameron. a lead they would not relinquish last night. Barmes has bounced around in his career as a utility player. He's played a little short. He's played some second base, but has settled in now, not only as the number 2 hitter in this lineup, but as the second baseman for Jim Tracy. And he continues to produce. Little bouncer. Fielder's got it. And McClung gets out of the mess. 2 on to start the inning. The Rockies come up empty. Cameron leads. Milwaukee with 2 runs in the 3rd inning. Braun and Fielder with 2-out RBI doubles. But the Rockies come roaring back. Tulowitzki homered in the 4th. And Colorado with 3 consecutive doubles in the 5th inning. Barmes, Helton, and Haupt for 2 runs in that 5th. And a 3-2 Colorado lead. And that's where we sit as we head to the home 6th. Sausages entertaining the crowd as we head to the home 6th. Look at Chorizo as the weather starts to warm a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the key. He's not much when the weather's cool. Doesn't like the cold weather.
And he's got a little hot dog in him, if that makes sense. Yeah, Chorizo has a little hot dog in him.
Got a little swagger or a little hot dog.
which the hot dog's not very happy about.
The Clement sausages.
Well, maybe that'll get the Brewers bats going here. Milwaukee down a run. Cameron leads off. De La Rosa able to stay in the game after he dropped a bunt down in the top of this frame to advance the runners. But McClung does a job to get out of it. Gets Fowler and Barmes to end the inning. Two runs on 4 hits for the Brewers. 3 of those hits came in the 3rd inning. And De La Rosa just pitched out of a big spot in the 5th when he struck out Fielder with 2 men aboard. At this point, this is De La Rosa's best effort against the Milwaukee Brewers, his old club.
Yeah, particularly here at Miller Park. We mentioned the fact that coming into tonight, he had an ERA at about 8.5 at Miller Park.
2 starts, 3 appearances against Milwaukee. 14 earned runs in 9 2/3 innings. The rest of the numbers for De La Rosa came during his time as a Brewer. He was traded to the Kansas City Royals in 06. A trade for Tony Graffinino. Brought Graffinino to the Brewers. And then was traded from the Royals to the Rockies prior to last season.
He's got one of those arms that a lot of organizations are going to spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to make this guy a winner. I mean, his arm is just too good to be 1-6. ERA at 5.28, and that includes a very good start his last time out against St. Louis.
Well, De La Rosa earned his spot back in the rotation with a post All-Star break run for the Rockies last season. That was impressive. After the All-Star game last year, in the second half, De La Rosa went 7-3 for Colorado. 7 of his 10 wins came in the second half, and a 3.08 earned run average. Full count to Cameron, leading off the 6th inning, and down he goes. De La Rosa strikes him out. 7th strikeout for De La Rosa.
Well, right down the middle on a 3-2 pitch. Here it is, hit it. Bingo. And Cam swings right through it. Sometimes you go up there, you feel as though you got a hole in your bat.
Seven strikeouts for De La Rosa. Corey Hartnell. And took the bat right out of his hands with a fastball. Brewers in a little bit of a funk offensively right now. Milwaukee on Sunday in Atlanta scored 7 runs in a bit of a breakout game, but lost that game 8-7. They were involved in a couple of shutouts on the road trip. Back-to-back shutouts, as a matter of fact, for Brewer pitching in Atlanta. Been a lot of low-scoring games here lately.
Well, that's why you can't just rely on offense to win games. I mean, sometimes it's going to be pitching, sometimes it's going to be the hitters. And with a good balanced attack between the two, you end up in the postseason.
Back-to-back strikeouts for De La Rosa. His last 4 outs have come on strikeouts, and he now has 8.
Breaking pitch. Big curveball, a dandy. Hasn't thrown too many of those for a strike. We saw him throw one to Prince in that big situation last inning for a called strike. That was a good one.
So 2 outs, and here's Rivera. A couple of ground outs tonight on Rivera's card. And he starts it with a curveball strike. Jim Tracy took a chance by allowing De La Rosa to hit for himself. Basically bunt the runners over in the top of this frame, and De La Rosa has come back strong in the bottom of the 6th. '28-year-old Jorge De La Rosa, native of Monterrey, Mexico. Putting together his 2nd consecutive good start for Colorado. Rockies starting pitchers have been winners the last 6 games.
De La Rosa just appears to be getting stronger as the game goes on, just like last night with Hamill. Rivera swinging right through a fastball that was right down the middle. That's definitely a function of being able to throw your off-speed pitches for strikes. Not sure what you're going to get in any given pitch, no matter what the count. He slips that fastball. It's been clocked up anywhere around 94 miles an hour. He's throwing it right by him right now.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Brewers need a bolt from someone. Trying to get the crowd into it. A concerned crowd here at Miller Park. Over 34,000. Matter of fact, just shy of 35,000 on hand. 2-2. And Rivera lifts one to left. An easy play for Gonzalez. And De La Rosa retires the Brewers in order in the 6th. On our way to the 7th at Miller Park. Triple hop brewed Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. And by Toyota, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Brewers and the Tundra Territory at Miller Park. And this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Milwaukee Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Somber crowd here at Miller Park. They're waiting for some action as the Brewers are down to the Rockies 3-2 as we head to the 7th. The Brewers push over the 1 million mark in attendance with this crowd tonight. Incredible.
Yep, and school's still in, right? What's tomorrow, the last day?
Some schools are out, some are finishing up tomorrow and Friday.
I think that might be one of the reasons why a lot of the parents are somber today.
That's a good point.
Kids aren't here yet.
Game number 59 of the year for Milwaukee. Started the day 8 games over 500 and a 2.5 game lead in the division. Helton pops it up. And McGee handles it for the first out. Seth McClung has come on and gotten some big outs here lately. After putting the first 2 on in the 6th inning. Retired the side in order after that, and now he gets Helton to start the 7th.
Amazing, really. First 2 batters had no idea where his pitches were going, and then really has settled down since that time, as you mentioned, making some very good ones. Well-located fastballs. Now, Seth McClung certainly a guy that you would think that at some point get back in that starting rotation, if not with Milwaukee, maybe somewhere else. But, he came to the Brewers with 2 pitches, basically, a fastball and a curveball. Very inconsistent with both. Now he's got 4 pitches he can go to. Slider, changeup, curveball, and a fastball. He's also got a 2-seamer that he's working on. So you go from a 2-pitch pitcher.
As Brad Hoff sends one out of here to center field. And just like that, the Rockies on top 4-2. Boy, Haupt, a tough out. He doubled in a run his last time up. Now a home run here in the 7th. His hitting streak extended to 12 games. His 9th homer of the year.
This is a very confident offensive club. These guys are going up there very confident. They're getting pitches to hit, not missing them, and way back in center. On a fastball, we've seen Brad Haupt hit just about everything in this series. Curveballs, splitters, fastballs, you name it. And when you're doing that, you know you're seeing the ball well.
Now, that's one thing about baseball. You know, you talk about the old line, you should pick up wins against teams under 500, teams you're supposed to beat, quote unquote. You know, in baseball, especially this time of year, you catch a hot ball club and anybody can beat anybody. I mean, they're so evenly matched, and the Rockies come in here smoking hot. And you're right, it has a lot to do with confidence, especially at the plate. The Rockies last night was a perfect example. They were down 2-0 until the 7th inning, and all of a sudden a quick strike, and they had a 3-2 lead, and that's how it ended last night.
A lot of parity in baseball, whether you agree with the salary caps and free agency and with some of these teams like New York, Chicago, what they can do with their payroll. But you know, the only division that's really out of hand at this point is the National League West. Los Angeles Dodgers 20 games over 500. Every other division is very close.
There's an old adage in baseball, everybody's going to lose 60, everybody's going to win 60. It's what you do with the 42 in between that makes or breaks your season. Full count to Ian Stewart. 4-2 Rockies. Haupt goes deep with 1 out to straightaway center field. And McClung strikes out Ian Stewart. Big fastball from Seth McClung. 2 outs.
Yeah, this coming Sunday, the Brewers take on the Chicago White Sox in interleague play at 105. Come out to Miller Park as the first 25,000 fans get a Brewers window clink courtesy of U.S. Cellular, the exclusive wireless provider of the Brewers.
Interleague baseball in Milwaukee this weekend. 6-game homestand at all. This is day 2. 2 outs for Tulowitzki. He homered back in the 4th. The Rockies have scored 4 unanswered against Milwaukee after the Brewers led 2-0 following a 2-run 3rd inning.
Yeah, 2-0 leads haven't worked all that well for the Brewers in this series.
That was the lead last night when the Rockies scored 3 in the 7th. Matter of fact, the Brewers have blown 2-run leads late in the last 2 games. Had a 2-run lead in Atlanta in the 8th inning on Sunday. Tulowitzki hitting his 2nd home run in his last 3 games. Now has 7 for the year. He's 1 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Tulowitzki's been nursing a hand injury. Knocked him out of action last week briefly. Not serious enough to go on the disabled list. And he takes ball 4. McClung issues his 2nd walk. And the Rockies have a man on with 2 outs for Carlos Gonzalez. De La Rosa in control, has retired the last 4. And 4 of his last 5 outs have come on the strikeout. Gonzalez has walked all 3 times at the plate. the key pickup for Colorado in that trade with Oakland that sent Matt Holliday to the Athletics. It was Gonzalez and Houston Street that Colorado got in return. And Bill Castro wants a word with Seth McClung. Gonzalez hasn't seen a lot of strikes tonight, partner.
No, he hasn't. He's got a good eye at the plate. A very confident young man. He's got a bit of a swagger to him. And here's a guy that doesn't even have 20 at-bats yet in the big leagues. Last night he struck out and fired his bat, fired his helmet. One of his walks tonight kind of flipped the bat. And a bit of a showman. A little bit of confidence going on. It's all right if you can back it up.
Making his 5th start for Colorado tonight. 2 balls, no strikes. Gonzalez got a little big league time last year with Oakland, but his numbers in AAA this year resulted in his call-up a couple of weeks ago. Big numbers in Colorado Springs in the Pacific Coast League. Takes a mighty hack at that one. Hardy's going out. He makes the call and the catch, and the inning ends, but Colorado scores again. Hawk goes deep, and
Jorge De La Rosa, the former Brewer. The story, Davey, 6 innings, only giving up 4 hits, the 2 runs, and 8 strikeouts. Better away from Colorado, you think?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. He pitches a lot better. He seems to be a lot more relaxed. This guy has great stuff, and he's had his great slider working and a good curveball, which doesn't seem to work too well in Colorado.
Well, we'll continue to break down this ball game coming up on Brewers Live postgame. Also the outing for Dave Bush. He last 5 innings gives up the 3 runs. Brewers, though, trail right now 4-2, and we've got a lot coming up as well on the post-game report, including our on-field instructional. That includes Bruce Fremming, so you want to stick around with the former umpire from Milwaukee coming up after the ball game. Brian?
Okay, Craig, Davey, thanks a lot. Look forward to that. Jorge De La Rosa's final numbers tonight. 6 innings, 4 hits, only 2 runs allowed. Both of those runs came in the 3rd. And just 4 walks with 8 strikeouts tonight for De La Rosa.
And didn't give up a base hit after that Prince Fielder double in the 3rd inning. So very similar to the story from last night. Brewers able to get something going early, but not much after that. Randy Flores, the veteran left-hander, one of 2 left-handers in that bullpen for Jim Tracy. 9th appearance only, has not allowed a run.
Interesting that Tracy goes with Flores here, with Billy Hall leading off. Brewers have a run of right-handed hitters. Ken Maka looks like he's going to use Craig Counsell to hit next in the pitcher spot. But then to the top of the order, McGee and Hardy and Braun, all right-handed batters.
Now, you might not see Flores after the pinch hitter. Jim Tracy well aware that the only players on the bench for Ken Mock are all left-handed except for Jason Kendall. You're not going to use him unless you have to. Council, Gamble, Catalinato all left.
Hall is 0 for 2, a couple of groundouts. Third at bat of the night against a southpaw for Bill Hall. Now the Brewers trying to get some base runners aboard for the top of the order. Down a pair, getting late here at Miller Park. And Hall takes one just off the plate. Flores in his first year as a Rocky, after spending the last 5 seasons pitching for Tony La Russa in St. Louis. This is not a spot that Flores would have been in as a Cardinal. As he walks Bill Hall, the Brewers have a base runner. We check back in with Craig and Davey.
June 22nd at Black Wolf Run. Davies got his golf tournament. Open Arms Homes for Children in South Africa and Brewers Charities are the recipients. And you still have some room left, Davey.
Well, we certainly do. We have plenty of foursomes left. It's going to be a wonderful evening, Craig. It starts the registration about 9:30, but we're going to have a lot of great celebrities out there. We're also going to have a great silent and live auction. So it's going to be a wonderful day, and you can sign up, as you can see, on thebrewers.com/Davey.
We like it. All right, looking forward to it coming up on June 22nd. Brian?
All right, Craig, thanks. Looking forward to that event. Council announced as the pinch hitter. Got a big ovation from this Miller Park crowd. The key batter in this inning for both teams. Council flares one to left. Gonzalez got a late start, and that one is going to be run down by Tulowitzki. Terrific play by the Rockies shortstop going back into the grass.
He covers a lot of ground. Surprised that Gonzalez took so long to get there. He plays a relatively shallow left field. He plays shallow for just about everybody. They got a late break on it. And Tulowitzki going back. Much tougher play for the shortstop. But he's able to haul it in. And as predicted, that's going to be all for Flores. They're going to bring a right-hander in for the top of this order.
So Flores gives up a walk and gets it out. Top of the order coming up with Casey McGee, then J.J. Hardy. And Jim Tracy going to the bullpen. Joel Peralta on to pitch. We'll set him up when we come back.
and what he's done defensively. His whole game has warranted him to be a lock in the All-Star game.
Yeah, and you know the tough thing about that, Davey, is starting pitchers and closers dominate the pitching staffs at the All-Star game. The middle guys kind of get phased out, which is a little bit unfair because those guys are really important to winning and losing. But to me, Trevor Hoffman can go ahead and book his ticket. He's going to St. Louis, and I think Brewers fans are going to be real excited about that.
You know what? I like Hell's Bells anyway, but I'm going to go with the Prince.
No wonder they were 50-50. They're agreeing with each other. They both make great points. Drew Olson and Davey Nelson going at it earlier today. I have the results for you in Brewers Live postgame. Big spot here in front of 35,000 in Miller Park. The Brewers have the tying run at the plate. Joel Peralta in the pitch for Colorado, 33-year-old journeyman right-hander, against McGee with Hall at first base. Casey McGee still looking for his first career major league home run. Peralta making his 6th appearance as a Colorado Rocky.
Yeah, he got called up on May 18th. He had pretty good numbers down in AAA, 4-0 with a 3.60 ERA, all out of the bullpen.
He's pitched parts of the last 3 seasons in the American League in Kansas City. Casey McGee has a double tonight and a walk. He's 1 for 2. Scored a run in the 3rd. He started the string of 3 doubles in that 3rd inning that produced the 2 runs. Unfortunately for the Brew Crew, that has been it. Milwaukee without a hit since that 3rd inning when Fielder doubled in the 2nd run. And that was even a play that probably could have been made. It was in and out of the glove of Dexter Fowler. Slim pickings tonight for the Brewers up to now. Wow, what a play by Iannetta.
Yeah, he's been all over the place back there. He's more like a hockey goalie tonight. Peralta throws a lot of sliders. That's his favorite pitch. And if you're catching Peralta, you know that a lot of them are going to end up in the dirt, but not very many you're going to be able to block that are that far outside. Well done.
Keeps the double play intact. Inning started with a walk to Hall. Counsell popped up against Randy Flores. 2-1 to McGee. 3 balls and a strike. These are the kinds of at-bats that impressed us so much this spring with Casey McGee. Able to work deep into a count. He's got the count in his favor here. And that one missed. And McGee with back-to-back walks on base for the 3rd time. And that puts the tying run aboard and brings the go-ahead run to the plate.
Well, the last thing the Rockies wanted to see there was a base on balls. Now with the big guys coming up, after most Sunday home games, the kids 16 and under can run the bases here at Miller Park. That's compliments of great clips. For information, call 414-902-4000 or go to Brewers.com.
So here is Hardy. A chance to do some damage in the 7th inning. A long ball here. The Brewers take the lead. Hardy is 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts on his line. Two walks, have 2 on for the Brewers with 1 away.
Ordinarily, Peralta in trouble when he can't throw strikes with that slider. That's his out pitch. He's going to throw a lot of those. When he's forced to throw the fastball, he becomes very hittable.
Carlos Villanueva will have the 8th. 1 gone here in the 7th. Crowd getting into it now. 2 balls, no strikes. And now Hardy really in the driver's seat with a struggling pitcher on the mound. See what he has in mind for him. 2-0. Fastball in the corner. Well spotted. 2 balls and a strike. Perfect location for Peralta.
Not much you're going to do with that. Best off you could do is hope it's off the plate.
Four to 2 Rockies. The Brewers threatening here in the 7th. And a pickoff attempt, and Hall is just back. And Tulowitzki is barking at Jerry Crawford, the second base umpire.
That was pretty close. My goodness. Come on, Billy. Your run doesn't mean anything. Casey McGee is the run the Brewers are interested in. It's station to station for Hall. That was very close. Boy.
Well, he's out.
It doesn't get any closer than that. It looked like the Brewers got a break. Ball beat him. Tulowitzki with a tag. It could have gone either way.
Man, can you imagine? That would have been a huge out. It would have been the second out. And it would have taken the tying run off the base paths. Brewers might have gotten a break. 2 balls and a strike to J.J. Hardy. And that one just missed. 3 balls, 1 strike. And now this crowd starting to feel something.
Yeah, Peralta just not willing to throw the ball over the plate. He's trying to nibble on the corners, and Phil Cuzzy not going to help him out.
Action pitch coming up. Ryan Braun is on deck. 3-2.
Everything away from Peralta. You could pretty much forget about the inside half. Hasn't thrown anything even close to the inside corner.
Well, it's the ultimate risk reward here. He has not been sharp with his slider, but that's his best pitch. With the dangerous Braun on deck, does he go back to it here? Peralta and Iannetta not syncing up. And Hardy strikes out. Peralta comes all the way back, and a huge strikeout for out number 2.
Well, it didn't look like a slider, but it was something off speed at 80 miles an hour. Let's see what it is. That was a changeup. How about that pitch? Or was it a backup slider? That's what it was. Backup slider that didn't do anything, but the velocity, or lack thereof, was what got JJ.
So 2 outs, and here's Braun now. Brewers still with a tying run aboard. Braun representing the go-ahead run here in the 7th. A frustrating night offensively for Milwaukee up to now. Braun could change that with 1 swing of the bat, however. Hall at second, McGee at first. Both reached via the walk. Fielder would be next. Peralta has been unable to command his slider. And the best slider he's thrown gets the strikeout on Hardy, and it was so bad it was good.
Yeah.
It was a backup slider.
Right down the middle, didn't move an inch.
One and one. Peralta has not challenged any hitter he's faced inside yet. Continues to stay away. Two on, two out. Both of the runs in the third came in with two away.
Well, it's a matter if they want to throw a fastball away or a slider away. I mean, it's not a matter of whether you want to come inside. He hasn't done that yet this inning. Pretty much have a 50-50 chance to guess what he's going to throw to you. But keep in mind, he hasn't thrown a fastball for a strike. Everything's away, but it's been missing. The only fastball that was a strike was one that was called on JJ, but that was pretty marginal.
Well, Ryan Braun handles the pitch away, whether it be a fastball or a slider, as well as anyone the Brewers have. One ball, one strike to Braun. He's been on base all three times. 2 walks and a double for Ryan tonight. 2 on, 2 out. And Braun chased one. 1 and 2 the count.
Well, slider away.
Peralta holds it in that split finger grip. Two and two. Well, it is going to get real interesting if Peralta misses with this pitch. And it goes full. It means the runners will get a head start. And it means with Fielder on deck, Braun could get a pretty good pitch to handle. Braun on the ground to short, and Peralta's going to get out of it. Boy, the Brewers let an opportunity go by. They strand a pair, still trail 4-2. Brewers and the Rockies wrap up the series tomorrow afternoon. We'll be on the air at 12:30 tomorrow for Brewers Live. And the first pitch at 1:05. Yovani Gallardo on the mound tomorrow for Milwaukee. Then the White Sox come to town. Weekend series. Check Saturday's game. That is on Fox, national television for the Brewers. We're on Fox Sports Wisconsin Friday and Sunday. And some news coming out of Chicago. The White Sox apparently are going to be without Carlos Quentin until after the All-Star break. So a big slugger loss for Chicago. Chris Smith making his Brewers debut here tonight. His numbers in AAA Nashville. He was the closer down there for Don Money. A strike thrower, and he gets his first chance in a Brewer uniform here in the 8th inning.
And a guy that has an average fastball, he'll throw a fastball, a curveball, and a changeup. Talking to Billy Castro, he's got a very good changeup. Did a nice job down in AAA, getting an opportunity here tonight.
Chris Iannetta leads off down the right field line, well hit, and that one is going to be a foul ball. Just missed the line down there. Smith pitched in the big leagues last year with Boston. Had a brief run in the major leagues with the Red Sox. Appeared in 12 games for Boston a season ago. That was his first taste of the big leagues. 28-year-old right-hander Chris Smith. And one of his better pitches, that changeup.
And again, not overpowering. Low 90s, tops out at low 90s with a fastball. Very good overhand curveball. His out pitch, his strikeout pitch is that changeup.
Gets it on the hands of Iannetta. Hart is there. And one away here in the 8th.
And because of that changeup, you can come in with a fastball at 89 miles an hour and jam a major league hitter. It's amazing, Peralta. I mean, nothing even remotely close to the inside part of the plate. Everything away, sliders and fastballs. A guy with a style like that very rarely is going to be a starting pitcher. You got to be able to move the ball around a little bit, but you can get away with it for an inning, particularly late in the ball game.
He just pitched out of a huge jam. Had 2 on with the meat of the order coming up. He struck out Hardy, and then he got Braun to ground out, and it ended the frame, and the Brewers could not score. Garrett Atkins pinch hitting for Colorado. Atkins batting 194 to start play today. Does have 5 homers and 20 RBIs, but for now, he has lost his job to Ian Stewart. Second appearance for Atkins, both in pinch hitting roles. He's got big numbers against the Brewers in his career. .382 career batting average against Milwaukee and 4 home runs. Look at the RBI numbers for Atkins. 111 2 years ago in the World Series year. As he pops this one up, Braun drifting back. 2 up and 2 down for Smith.
It's just one of those things that you just can't put your finger on. I mean, as good as he's been for 4 years with the Rockies, they just can't get it going.
Smith was up and down 3 times last year with Boston. Was up in late June last year, and then in August, and then came up in September when they expanded the rosters. Dexter Fowler with 2 outs. And Matt Daly getting loose. Daly was good last night. Scoreless inning with a strikeout. Pitched the 7th last night. He's got a good looking changeup, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Little key shot off the end of the bat on Fowler. It's amazing this game of baseball. This guy looked like a world beater last night and looks completely confused up at the plate so far tonight.
2 hits last night, 0 for 5 tonight. 0 for 4 tonight with 3 strikeouts. And now he bunts and fouls it back. 1-2 on Fowler. Last night in the 7th, he tried to bunt, fouled it away, and then delivered with an RBI double. One ball, 2 strikes on the Rockies' leadoff hitter. Just missed a slider, tried for the back door, and it's 2-2 on Fowler. Got him. Change of pace, strikes him out. Rivera secures it at first. And a terrific debut in a Brewers uniform for Chris Smith. The year that started a run of 4 unanswered for Colorado. That was in the 4th inning. Then Colorado with a couple of runs in the 5th. Brad Hawpe with a solo home run in the 7th. Hawpe has 2 hits, 2 runs batted in, and it's 4-2 Rockies as we head to the home 8th. Prince Fielder set to lead off. He'll be followed by Cameron and then Hart. And Prince Fielder at the plate, presented by Wendy's. And an RBI double back in the 3rd inning. De La Rosa struck him out with 2 on in the 5th. New pitcher for Colorado is Matt Daly. Worked a scoreless 7th inning last night.
Well, this guy was on a disabled list. Actually stepped on a bat while backing up a base. Put him on the disabled list, but he's been throwing the baseball very well. Actually earns the 8th inning in a lead in place of Manny Corpus. This is ordinarily a Manny Corpus inning.
Daly's first year in the big leagues. And he's quickly 0-2 on Prince Fielder.
Now, upon further review of the game notes tonight, Manny Corpus has pitched in each of the last 3 games for the Rockies. Probably not available here tonight.
And Houston Street has saves in back-to-back games for Colorado. Well, another close game. The Brewers have been frustrated offensively tonight. They have 2 runs on 4 hits in this game. Both of the runs and 3 of the 4 hits came in 1 inning, back of the 3rd. And they do put the shift on with nobody aboard for Fielder.
Yeah, tough to do that kind of a shift when there's men on base. Last time he was up in the 5th, couple of men on.
Fielder gets jammed. That one falling fast. Gonzalez converging. Fowler is there. Neither one of them catch it. And it gets away. And Prince Fielder with a double.
Where in the world is Carlos Gonzalez? That's his second fly ball or pop-up that he hasn't been able to get to. That's a left fielder's ball. Dexter Fowler's been covering an awful lot of ground out there in center field. Prince Fielder running hard all the way. Able to get in with a double. I mean, where in the world is Gonzalez? He's playing deep where he should be, but getting a terrible break. Dexter Fowler was the closest one to it. Gonzalez just pulled up on it. He didn't want any part of it.
Well, it brings a tying run to the plate in Cameron. What ball that's in the air that long should certainly be caught.
Boy.
Fielder, the benefactor, as he picks up his second double of the game. Now the Brewers a long ball away from squaring it up here in the 8th. Daly has not allowed a home run at the big league level yet.
He's got a tremendous sinker. I mean, that arm angle that he throws has a natural sink to it. It's tough to elevate a pitch that he gets down in his zone.
By the way, that double for Fielder, the first hit for the Brewers since Fielder's double in the 3rd inning. One and 2 the count on Cameron. Just got a piece.
Haven't had a hit, but they've had 4 walks in between those 2 doubles. So they have had opportunities to score.
Now the Brewers with 2 walks in the 5th inning couldn't score, and then 2 walks and 2 men on base in the 7th came up empty. That means the dew bucket is starting to fill up, right?
Yes, sir.
It won't stay this way forever. One thing you know about Daly, he's going to be around the strike zone. He has excellent command. Prince out at second. Cameron in a hole, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And he got under 1. Tulowitzki makes a play, 1 away here in the 8th. So Cameron's 0 for 3 with a walk. 1 gone here in this 8th inning, and it's Corey Hart.
Well, he changes the eye angle a lot. You know, rides that 4-seamer up in the zone. He's got that sinker down in the zone. A pretty good slider.
'27-year-old New Yorker, born in Queens. Started the season in AAA Colorado Springs. Hard a bouncer over to third. Stewart makes a nice pickup and a throw that gets his man. So 2 outs after the Fielder double. Another good play by Ian Stewart, our Home Depot doing more on defense.
Well, we've seen him make a couple of nice plays. He likes that spin around and making the throw to first base. We saw that last night. Our Home Depot doing more on defense. Well, 2 pitches, 2 outs after Prince Fielder's double. And Prince still standing at second base.
So here is Rivera, 0 for 3 tonight. Stewart made a nice play on Rivera back in the 5th, robbing him of a base hit. Ken Maka hoping someone steps up with a big hit. Outfield is deep. And Rivera takes a strike. No balls and 2 strikes on Mike Rivera with 2 outs. Trevor Hoffman loosening up for the Brewers. Laid off a tough pitch. 1-2. There's Hoffman. It's been a while since Hoffman was in a game.
It was Saturday, wasn't it?
Saturday in Atlanta. Rivera pops it up. And the Brewers let another one go by. A leadoff double, and the crew coming up empty again. Does a manager use to determine the batting order of a team? Bob from West Bend wants to know.
I'm not sure one stat will give a manager a batting order. There are certain types of players that you would like at the top of the order. You'd like to have a good on-base percentage type hitter. You know, home run hitters 3, 4, 5, 6. You'd like to have some contact hitters down at the bottom of the order. So it's a number of different statistics that you use to get that batting order the way you want it.
Well, it's been a struggle for the Brewers offensively tonight. Only 5 hits, only 2 runs. Chris Smith back out there. One of the advantages of having a guy like Chris Smith, he can work in multiple innings. Even though he was the closer in AAA Nashville, there was a time there in spring training when it was thought he might start. So he was stretching out accordingly. Regularly pitched multiple innings last year for Boston. On 5 occasions pitched more than 1 inning for the Red Sox in the big leagues. He'll earn his money here in the ninth. He'll have to go through Barmes, Helton, and Haup. 3 of the best hitters the Rockies have to offer. Barmes has 2 hits tonight, 2 doubles in 4 tries. Scored a run as well. Into center, Mike Cameron drifting back, still going back, and he runs it down for the out. 4 in a row retired by Smith. Well, we close the polls on our U.S. Cellular question tonight. Most deserving of an all-star spot. Braun leads the way, fielder right behind him. Thanks for your participation. You can always get interactive with us each night on Brewers Television. 234-234 is the text number. 1 out for Todd Helton. He's 1 out of 3. He doubled and scored a run back in the 5th. He doubled in the Rockies' first run. Check that, the second run. As Houston Street, the Rockies' closer, begins to get loose. He'll be making a bid at his 3rd consecutive save in as many days. The Brewers will have Hall, then a pinch hitter, and then back to the top of the order. Might see Matt Gamble. Helton now at 42 ribbies. Walked him. So Helton aboard for the 3rd time tonight. And the Rockies keep the pressure on late. It's the 7th walk Brewer pitching has allowed tonight to Colorado. Dave Bush, the starter, went 5 innings, walked 4, struck out 7. The 4 walks for Bush tied a season high.
Now here's a stat for you. None of the 7 walks have come around to score.
Interesting.
How do you figure that?
Now the Rockies have some extra base hits tonight. They have 2 homers and 3 doubles. And those are the hits that have produced the runs. And 3 consecutive doubles in the 5th inning that played at 2. And then Tulowitzki and Haup with solo home runs.
That's a nice changeup right there.
Another one, and Haup offers at it. 1 ball, 2 strikes on the Rocky slugger. DeFelice, in case Smith runs into trouble here in this 9th inning. Ball and 2 strikes. Haup sitting on a 12-game hitting streak. A double and a home run tonight. He's driven in a pair. His home run came in the 7th inning off McClung. His double was against Bush. He swung at a first pitch curveball. You can tell Smith has a lot of confidence in his command of the fastball. He pretty much just challenged Brad Haup right there with a fastball, which is what you need when you have a changeup
Well, change up, and that means you can throw 89 miles an hour in on some fists and get some outs. Just keep pounding away. I mean, the fastball not nearly as effective when you have an off-speed pitch like Smith's. When you keep throwing it on the outside part of the plate, gives a hitter a chance to catch up to it.
Went with another fastball, and he just missed the corner. He had him struck out if he hits the zone. Hawk wasn't ready for that pitch.
He's going to probably sit changeup right here, too.
Full count, Helton over at first. And he missed with a changeup, so Hawk draws the walk. Back-to-back walks given up by Chris Smith. 2 on now with 1 out. And another lefty coming up in Ian Stewart. It's one thing about this Rockies lineup. They're stacked with left-handed hitters, especially in the middle of their order, but it's a left-handed run that you can match up with, but left-handed hitters who can handle left-handed pitching.
Yeah. They have 5 lefties up and down this order, and all of them with pretty good power.
So 2 on for Stewart.
A changeup from a right-handed pitcher, pretty much the neutralizer for left-handed batters. That's why Villanueva was so effective against lefties. Particularly changeup that'll go down and away.
There's a good changeup in there for strike 2. Smith had a 3-up, 3-down 8th inning. First appearance as a Brewer. He was called up on the last road trip. He was brought to the big leagues last Thursday in Florida. It's tough for a guy to just sit and sit, but when you're first coming up and you're getting your first opportunity, you just have to be ready. That's the bottom line. It's not an ideal situation, but you do what you can to keep yourself as sharp as possible.
I mean, it's tougher psychologically than it is physically.
Two and two. I mean, it helps that Smith has been to the big leagues, and he pitched in some pretty big moments last year in Boston in a pennant stretch for the Red Sox. But still, you're with a new organization. You want to impress. You finally get your chance. And you sit around for almost a week.
Yeah. Well, really, Ken Maka didn't have the opportunity to get him into a game. I mean, just to get him settled in a game that was somewhat out of hand either way. Brewers haven't had any of those.
A bouncer got a chance for 2 here. Hardy takes it on the bag, and the throw is in time. Nicely done, Chris Smith. Stewart bounces into a 6-3 double play. Well, nearly 35,000 have been held relatively quiet until between innings here. They've had one chance to cheer. The Brewers have had just really 2 opportunities since the 2-run second and have come up empty. They're jumping around at Miller Park. We take you back to the 7th inning with Jimmy John's delivery of the game issued by Joel Peralta. He strikes out Hardy with 2 on and then got Braun after a long at bat to ground out to end the inning. Peralta out of the Rockies bullpen, which is shorthanded tonight. Manny Corpus unavailable, but he did his job. He bridged to Matt Daly, who worked a scoreless 8th, and now it's the closer, Houston Street, making a bid at his 3rd consecutive save.
Yeah, 10 saves on the year, a 298 earned run average, a 211 opponent batting average. He doesn't give up too many base hits. 25 strikeouts in just a little over 24 innings of work. Had a very good changeup working for him last night.
Ryan Spilborghs takes over in right for defensive purposes. And Ken Maka is going to go with a pair of lefties here at the bottom of the order. Catalanato will pinch hit for Bill Hall. And then Gamble will pinch hit in the pitcher spot. And you can think right along with the Brewer manager. Catalano gets on and Gamble hits one out to tie it.
Yeah, you go for the batting average guy first and then the power guy next. That's the idea.
Catalanato 3 for 14 as a Brewer. Signed just 3 weeks ago. Veteran pinch hitter. And he takes a strike from Street. 0-2 the count.
Looking for a bloop and a blast. Or maybe a couple of bloops and a blast.
Yeah, might as well, right? Might as well get 3 if you're going to get 2.
I like it.
Catalanato was with the Texas Rangers this spring. They had a decision to make between the left-handed hitting Catalanato and the right-handed batting Andrew Jones. They went with Jones. Catalanato was released. Brewers picked him up at the end of May. 0-2 the count on Catalanato. 1-2. Catalanato does have a couple of RBIs this year. Made 1 start for Milwaukee. Don't see many closers work from the windup ever, but Street does here in a 1-2 count. Hung in there with a fastball.
Yeah, pretty good pitch to hit right there. Catalanato would like to have that one back. Reed trying to catch the outside corner, got a little bit too much to the plate, but it was down, which is why Frank couldn't get a better swing at it.
Laid off a changeup. That's what separates Catalanato from a lot of other hitters off the bench. Shows a lot of patience and a great eye to lay off out pitches.
Yeah, the value of having a veteran coming off your bench late.
2-2 on the way. And a fastball missed. Street was running off the mound. He thought he had strike 3 against Catalanato.
I think so did Catalanato. So did everybody but the home plate umpire.
And he strikes him out anyway. Well, Street showing good stuff. Here comes Gamble. Last night Gamble hit his first career Miller Park home run. That was a second inning home run, put the Brewers on top 2-0. Now Gamble bats with the Brewers down 2. Top of the order would be next for the Brewers. Casey McGee hoping for a base runner.
Nice sneaky fast with that fastball right there, only 89 miles an hour. And then you go up there against Houston Street just like you would against Trevor Hoffman. You, in the back of your mind, think of that good changeup, and he throws that fastball right by you.
Now Street is one of the great competitors on the mound. Takes a little something extra to be able to pitch in the 9th inning as a closer. Street has been very successful at it. Former Rookie of the Year back in 05 with Ken Maka's Oakland A's. Puts another one by Gamble. 2-2. Street saved 37 games in 06 for Maka. Been battling injuries ever since. Finally healthy again. He has resumed as the closer and rejuvenated his career in Colorado. And Gamble is gone. Pinpoint command for Houston Street. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the 9th.
And didn't throw him a changeup in that whole sequence. All fastballs. Gamble had 2 very good fastballs to hit, and then Street able to catch the outside corner with a 2-seamer.
Casey McGee, the last call for the Brewers with 2 outs. Street gets ahead of him. Played his college ball at the University of Texas and did not spend much time in the minor leagues. First round draft pick back in 04, and then he was in the big leagues the next year as a 21-year-old, ultimately a closer in the big leagues and the Rookie of the Year that season. Son of a legendary college football player down in Austin, Texas, Jimmy Street. Takes that football mentality to the mound. And McGee goes, and that's a ball game. Houston Street strikes out the side, and the Colorado Rockies have won 7 consecutive road games. An incredibly hot team. The Brewers dropped the first 2 of this series. They'll hope to salvage one tomorrow.